Most people think they understand how debt works. They don't. They think debt is a choice, a consequence of buying things you don't need with money you don't have. But that's the comfortable lie we tell ourselves to feel superior. The truth is much colder. In the modern American economy, the system doesn't just charge you for what you buy. It charges you interest for the simple crime of not having money in the first place. Being broke isn't just a state of being. It's one of the most profitable business models ever designed. Picture this. It's a normal Friday evening in any American suburb. You're driving home after a 40-hour week that felt like 80, thanks to what I call shadow work. The unpaid hours you spend commuting and recovering just to do it all again tomorrow. You're exhausted, not just physically, but that deep, bone-weary exhaustion that comes from calculating the cost of groceries in your head before you even reach the aisle. Your gas light flickers on. It's an amber warning, a tiny catastrophe waiting to happen. You pull into a gas station. You just need $20 to get through the weekend. You insert your card, but the screen flashes. Transaction declined. You open your banking app, heart thumping against your ribs, and there it is, a $35 overdraft fee. Why? Because 3 days ago, a small, automatic subscription you forgot to cancel tried to pull $10 from an account that only had $9. The bank didn't just stop the transaction, they decided to fine you $35 for the inconvenience of you being poor. Now, you don't have gas. You don't even have the $9 you started with. You are now $26 in the hole, and the weekend hasn't even started. This is what it feels like when the system decides to harvest your stress for profit. Most people will look at that $35 fee and call it bad timing. They'll tell you to just be more careful next time. But if you're listening to this and you realize that a $35 fine for not having $10 isn't a mistake, it's a feature of the machine, then you're already starting to see the invisible equations. If you want to understand how these hidden mechanics actually work, and more importantly, how to stop being the fuel for them, hit that subscribe button. Consider it a signal to the algorithm that you're done with the distractions and ready for the data. We're peeling back the skin of the American economy, one layer at a time. We're told that if we work harder, we'll get ahead. That's the American dream, right? But you're working harder than ever, and yet nothing feels secure. You've achieved the raises you promised yourself 5 years ago, but the goalposts didn't just move, they vanished. You used to think that earning $70,000 a year would make you safe. Now, you're looking at your rent, your insurance premiums, and your utility bills, and realizing that $70,000 is the new $40,000. It's a cognitive dissonance that keeps you awake at 2 a.m. You aren't buying yachts. You're buying eggs, gasoline, and internet access. You're doing everything right, following the rules laid out by experts who tell you to skip the latte to become a millionaire. But the math doesn't add up. It's not bad luck. It's design. It's a mathematical trap hidden in plain sight, engineered to ensure that once you fall below a certain financial threshold, the very act of existing becomes a luxury you can barely afford. My name is Bond. I don't sell motivation, and I'm not here to tell you to grind harder. I just spend my time studying the systems people live inside and why they feel stuck. What you're experiencing has a name. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And the most dangerous part? It isn't what the system takes from your bank account. It's what it convinces you is normal. To understand why your bank account feels like a leaky bucket, we have to look at a concept called the boots theory. It was popularized by Terry Pratchett, but it's the most accurate description of the American working class I've ever found. The theory is simple. A rich person can afford to buy a $50 pair of boots that will last 10 years. A poor person can only afford $10 boots that fall apart every season. After 10 years, the poor person has spent $100 on boots and still has wet feet. while the rich person spent 50 and has dry feet. This is the poverty premium in action. It's an invisible equation that ensures the less you have, the more things cost. In modern America, this isn't just about boots. It's about everything. Think about your last trip to Costco. To save money by buying in bulk, you need two things: a car to get there and the capital to buy a 30-roll pack of toilet paper at once. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're buying a 4-pack at the corner bodega for $6. The person at Costco is paying 25 cents per roll. You're paying $1.50. By the end of the year, you've paid 300% more for the exact same necessity, simply because you couldn't afford the entry fee to be frugal. Now let's perform some forensic accounting on your daily life. I call these vampire costs, small, invisible drains that suck the blood out of your paycheck before you can even use it. Let's look at a typical worker in Chicago or Atlanta earning $15 an hour. On paper, that's $600 a week. But the system has already taken its cut. First, there's the convenience tax. When you work 2 jobs or a 10-hour shift, you don't have the luxury of time to meal prep. You're exhausted, so you spend $12 on a fast food meal because your brain is too fried to cook. That's an hour of your life traded for a burger. Then there's the transportation trap. If you can't afford a reliable car with a low-interest loan, you're likely driving a clunker with an 18% interest rate from a buy here, pay here lot. You're paying $400 a month for a car that breaks down twice a year, forcing you to pay for Ubers or lose shifts at work. This isn't bad luck. It's a mathematical trap. You're literally paying a premium for the privilege of being able to go to work to earn the money that pays for the car. But the real cruelty lies in how the financial system treats your lack of a safety net. If you have $100,000 in a high-yield savings account, the bank pays you interest. You make money by having money. But if you have negative $20, the bank charges you. Between overdraft fees, late payment penalties on credit cards, and the high interest rates on payday loans, a mathematical analysis that desperate people use to keep the lights on, the poor are effectively subsidizing the rewards programs of the wealthy. In America, we don't just charge interest on loans, we charge interest on struggle. And here is the most terrifying part. This system doesn't just drain your wallet, it hijacks your biology. When you are constantly under this financial siege, your brain actually changes. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of you that makes long-term plans and controls impulses, starts to shut down. You aren't bad with money, your brain is operating in survival mode. In the next section, we're going to look at the systemic villain, the entities that profit from keeping you in this state of perpetual emergency, and why it's not your fault. If you're feeling a sense of suffocating weight every time you look at your bank balance, there's something you need to hear, and you won't hear it from a financial guru on TikTok. It's not your fault. We've been fed a narrative for decades that financial failure is a moral failing, that if you're broke, it's because you're lazy, or you lack discipline, or you bought too many avocado toasts. But that's a convenient smokescreen. It's much easier for the system to blame the individual than to admit that the engine is designed to overheat. In the 1970s, a single income could support a family of 4, buy a house, and send 2 kids to college. Today, 2 incomes often can't even secure a down payment on a fixer-upper in a decent school district. You aren't failing. You are playing a game where the difficulty level has been set to impossible, while the rewards have been slashed. You're running a race on a track that is tilted upward, and the people at the finish line are wondering why you're out of breath. The reality is that your struggle is someone else's profit margin. When you can't afford a house, you pay rent, which is essentially paying someone else's mortgage, plus a premium for the privilege of shelter. When you can't afford healthcare, you wait until it's an emergency, which costs 10 times more and fuels a multi-billion-dollar debt collection industry. The system doesn't want you to go bankrupt, but it doesn't want you to be debt-free either. It wants you in the sweet spot, just wealthy enough to keep working, but just broke enough to keep paying interest. If this realization feels like a cold shower, it's because you're finally seeing the architecture of the trap. We talk about these structures every week, not to complain, but to map out the exits. If you haven't yet, this is the perfect moment to subscribe and join this community of observers. We're not here to hustle, we're here to understand. And understanding is the only way to stop being harvested. But let's look at the most expensive thing the system takes from you. It's not the dollars, it's the margin. Margin is the space between your income and your survival. It's the ability to say no to a toxic boss. It's the ability to take a month off when a family member gets sick. When you are broke, your margin is zero. You are a just-in-time human being. Every hour of your life is pre-sold to creditors and landlords before you even wake up. This is the two-income trap in its final form. Even with two people working, the fixed costs, housing, childcare, insurance, have expanded to swallow every cent. You have no insurance in the form of a stay-at-home parent or a savings account. You are one car breakdown or one medical bill away from total collapse. That constant low-level cortisol spike in your bloodstream? That's the sound of the system charging you interest on your existence. It's the price of living in a society that treats stability as a premium product. So the question isn't just, how do I earn more? Because if you earn more within this same rigged structure, the costs will simply rise to meet your new income. The real question is, how do you stop playing their game? In the next part, we're going to talk about strategic refusal, the practical, non-motivational steps to reclaim your margin and stop the bleeding, even when the world is designed to make you stay broke. In the classic American board game Monopoly, the goal is to own everything. But in the real-world version we're playing, the system has realized it's more profitable to make sure you never own anything. This is the shift from an ownership economy to an access economy. You don't own your software, you subscribe to it. You don't own your car, you lease it. You don't own your home, you rent it from the bank for 30 years while paying twice its value in interest. Why does this matter? Because when you don't own the foundations of your life, you are perpetually fragile. The real cost of being broke in America isn't the lack of luxury. It's the total loss of agency. When every pillar of your existence, your shelter, your transport, your communication, is a monthly subscription, you are effectively a sharecropper on your own life. You are working not to build an asset, but to keep the lights from being turned off. You've traded your future autonomy for a present-day survival that feels like a treadmill with no off switch. So how do you fight a system that charges you for not having money? Most financial advice tells you to save more. But you can't save your way out of a systemic drain. You have to decouple. Decoupling means systematically identifying every area where the system has a hook into your future time and cutting it. It's not about deprivation, it's about tactical withdrawal. Look at your fixed costs. Most Americans are house poor or car poor because they bought what the bank said they could afford, not what actually allowed them to breathe. If the bank says you can afford a $2,000 mortgage, they are calculating how much blood they can squeeze from you without killing you. To the system, your affordability is just their revenue target. Strategic refusal starts when you stop using the system's definitions of success. It's buying the 10-year-old Toyota for cash and ignoring the smirk from your neighbor with the $80,000 electric SUV. That neighbor is a high-income prisoner. You are a lower-income free man. One of you has the power to say no to a bad job. The other is a slave to the next monthly payment. The reason most people never escape this cycle isn't a lack of intelligence. It's an identity crisis. We've been conditioned to believe that our value is tied to our consumption. We use debt to buy signals of status because we're afraid of being seen as broke. But here's the irony. The system loves fake rich people. It feeds on them. It loves the person who earns 6 figures but has 0 net worth because they've financed a lifestyle they can't actually sustain. That person is the ultimate profit center. When you accept that the system is rigged, you stop feeling the need to impress it. You start seeing a savings account not as money, but as days of freedom. If your monthly expenses are $4,000 and you have $12,000 in the bank, you don't have $12,000. You have 90 days of pure, unadulterated liberty. You have the power to walk away from any situation for 3 months. That is a level of wealth that most people with a fancy title and a corner office will never actually know. But there is one final layer to this trap, and it's the most psychological of them all. It's the belief that things will eventually get better on their own. That a promotion or a tax refund will finally be the thing that breaks the cycle. It won't, because the system is designed to expand its appetite as fast as you expand your income. In the final part of this breakdown, we're going to look at the existential ending, how to rewire your relationship with time itself, and why rich is a number, but wealthy is a state of mind. I'll see you in the conclusion. The most dangerous word in the American vocabulary isn't debt or bankruptcy. It's soon. We tell ourselves, soon, I'll have that credit card paid off. Soon, I'll start that business. Soon, I'll have enough of a cushion to finally breathe. But soon is a horizon that retreats every time you take a step forward. The system is designed to make sure that soon never actually arrives. It wants you to stay in a state of permanent anticipation, because a person who is waiting for the future is a person who is easy to exploit in the present. Think about the psychology of the annual raise. You get a 3% bump, and for a week, you feel like you've won. But then, your insurance premium goes up by 4%. The price of eggs jumps by 10. Your landlord realizes the market has shifted and adds another $100 to your rent. You're earning more money than you ever have, yet you feel more precarious than ever. This is the Red Queen's race from Alice in Wonderland. You have to run faster and faster just to stay in the exact same place. If you don't recognize that the race itself is the problem, you'll spend your entire life wondering why your legs are so tired. True wealth in the modern age isn't about what you possess. It's about what you can ignore. It's the wealth of the unwatched. When you stop caring about the signals of status that the system tries to sell you, you suddenly find yourself with an incredible amount of found capital. This is the identity shift. Most people are working jobs they hate to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like. When you opt out of that cycle, the interest rates the system tries to charge you start to lose their power. The system charges you interest for not having money, but it also charges you attention interest for not having a sense of self. It wants you distracted, envious, and insecure because insecure people are the world's best consumers. They buy the bigger house they can't afford to feel stable. They buy the luxury car to feel successful. But real stability is a paid-off, modest home. Real success is a Tuesday afternoon where you can go for a walk because you don't owe your hours to anyone else. We have to stop measuring our lives by our gross income and start measuring them by our net freedom. Let's end where we began. Being broke is expensive. It is a tax on your bank account, your health, and your brain. But the ultimate cost isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in minutes. Every dollar of interest you pay is a fragment of your life that you've handed over to a corporation. You are trading your finite time on this planet for the privilege of keeping their machine running. When you realize that, the $35 overdraft fee doesn't just feel like an annoyance, it feels like a robbery of your very existence. You cannot change the Federal Reserve. You cannot change the global supply chain. But you can change the perimeter of your own life. You can choose to shrink your footprint so that the system has fewer places to grab onto you. You can choose to value your margin over your status. It's a quiet rebellion, one that doesn't require a picket sign, just a calculator and a very firm no. The system will continue to charge interest on those who don't have money. Your job is to make sure that you own enough of yourself that their interest no longer applies. If this breakdown changed the way you look at your next paycheck, send it to someone who still thinks they're just one promotion away from being free. They need to see the math as much as you did. My name is Bond. The system is what it is. But how you play the game is still up to you. I'll see you in the next one.